Welcome to Heartland Dual Sport. In today's video, we're going to be doing our Show and Tell Monday video, and we're going to be just telling you about the DJI Mini 2 that we've recently added to our channel and why it may be the perfect drone for you as well. So let's get to the video. Again, thanks for tuning in to Heartland Dual Sport. First of all, guys, I want to tell you I'm super excited. We got the DJI Mini 2 and we're going to start using it to film some of our videos that we're going to be doing on both of our channels, Heartland Makes and Outdoors as well as Heartland Dual Sport. One of the things that I want to do real quick, just in case you don't know, I'm going to give you a little bit of background and some history on me. And while I'm telling you a little bit about my background, I'm going to be showing you some images in the background that you guys can kind of look over and see. I started doing photography back in the 1990s. 1998, I shot my first wedding. I went on to graduate from the New York Institute of Photography, which is kind of a home study course, but back then it was really interesting because it was pre-internet. I mean, you would get your photo assignments from a guy in New York, take your photos, send it to him, send them back, he would grade it, and then he would also send you a cassette tape that you could listen to as he critiqued your work. It was a fun course, and as I got older I continued my love for photography, if you will, and I switched over to digital cameras in 2006. 2006 through 2009 I did quite a bit, and then I want to say it was around 2009, 2010, somewhere in there, I enrolled in the Oklahoma City University's Bachelor of Photography degree, and I was there for basically 1 year. What happened on that was, I was already in a career, and I just couldn't afford or justify the $30,000 or $40,000 it was going to take, because it was $600 a credit hour. I'm not knocking Oklahoma City University. They've got a very strong program and there's a lot of great instructors there. I just simply couldn't afford it or justify the expense. I went on and continued my dreams in photography, and I worked on that, and in the back of my mind for many years I really pictured photography being my full-time business when I retired from my career choice that I had. So with all that said, I just want you to understand that I really love photography, and I enjoy the wildlife photography, I enjoy family portraits, senior portraits, anything kind of camera, and especially tech related, is something that I'm passionate about. Back in 2000 and what year did we get the drone? 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, roughly in 2015 I bought my first drone. We bought a Unique, and I kind of talked about that if you've watched last week's video, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. And that Unique drone was just absolutely huge, and it wasn't something that we could continue to use with the motorcycle videos as well as even the Jeep videos. It was just too big and boxy and bulky to take. So that's one of the things that really excites me about this, and we're going to go over some of the key features of this drone right now and some of the reasons why I think it may be a drone that you would enjoy as well. So number one, as you can see, it's super small. I mean, you can throw this thing in your backpack, you can put it in your tank bag on a motorcycle, you can even put it on the CFR450rl is very similar to the DRZ as far as size and footprint. There's not a lot of real estate on that bike, but I can still pack this with me. If worst case scenario, I can put this in my backpack. One of the things that I learned throughout my years with photography is your best camera that you have is the one you have with you. That kind of reiterates what I'm talking about with this Mini 2. It is so small, you're going to be able to take it with you guys. This thing is like the GoPro in the skies. Speaking about GoPros, you guys that are familiar with your GoPros, you understand that there's different film settings that the GoPro has. This DJI Mini is very similar. You've basically got 3 modes on the flight controller. I've got to say this for starters, I haven't flown a drone basically since 2015, 2016, somewhere in there, until we got this one this year. I did start out with my recreational flyer's permit through the Trust program so that I could continue learning how to fly the drone. But the thing that I'm trying to explain to you about this drone is it's so simple to fly. You can be up in the air and taking pictures in no time. So real quick, we'll kind of go over some of the key features about the drone itself and its capabilities. Number one, it'll take 12 megapixel pictures. They turn out really nice, they're crystal clear, and it also shoots JPEG and RAW. So any of you guys that have a little bit of photography background, you understand the difference between JPEG and RAW. So it gives you a little more editing room with the RAW images straight out of the drone. The second side, or the flip side to that, is going to be your video quality. It shoots in 4K. It does a very good job at, I believe the frame rate's roughly 30 feet per second on that. It does the 2.7K, which is roughly 24 frames up to 60 frames per second. And then what I generally shoot in is HD, because if you guys have been watching our videos a long time, you start running a bunch of 4K video and try to run that through your computer to do edits, it just eats up so much memory. To me, it's not worth it. Now, I'm not saying there aren't going to be times where you're doing something super special and you need to shoot in 4K. You've got that option. But for your standard video, especially some that you're going to be uploading to YouTube, I don't have internet connection that would be good enough to even upload a 4K video, so there's no sense of me even trying to record in 4K, especially for the videos. But with that said, the HD video that you can record on this, it'll go from 24 frames per second up to 60 frames per second. So you do have the options. If you could slow it down some if you wanted to. But at the end of the day, basically, and that's why I'm going to compare this thing to the GoPro. When you look at this, of course the GoPro's on a little tripod, but you've basically got a GoPro in the sky, which is going to open up so many other options and for creativity and films, and I'm super excited about this, guys. Again, the other advantage about this right now, especially with the Mini 2, is it's on sale and it's going to be cheaper than what it cost when it originally came out, because they have released the DJI Mini 3. The Mini 3, they've attached the word Pro to it. It's got a lot more features. Speaking of some of those features, this drone basically has two little eyes on the bottom of it to where it's going to kind of sense anything below it. It doesn't have any kind of sensors for the left or right, front or back. For me, that wasn't a make or break deal, because I'm going to be flying in line of sight and I'm not going to be trying to go around a bunch of trees or racing through the trees. So it's no big deal that it doesn't have all the sensors. To me, as you guys know, a lot of the things that we do on our channel is all budget oriented, and this thing does an amazing job of capturing footage, being easy to fly, and I don't need the sensors. Now, that's not to say that we wouldn't like to upgrade down the road. Sure, who wouldn't? I'm just saying, since they've released the Mini 3, it makes this one even more affordable than it was. Back to the remote. The remote has really simple controls on it, and if you're unfamiliar at all about how to fly a drone, if you'd like, we could make a video on that and just show you some of the basics. But essentially, you've got three modes, and I'll kind of scoot up here so you can see. But you've got an S mode, which is kind of sport mode, you've got an N mode, and then you've got a C mode. The C mode, if you want to think about it, is kind of cinematic, and it's going to slow your controls down. It's also going to slow your speed down. Speaking of speed, in the S mode you can fly up to roughly 35 miles an hour. The next mode down, which is the N mode, is roughly 22 miles an hour, and then the C mode, which, like I say, is a little more cinematic because it's going to be a slower footage, whether you're going backwards or forwards, and you can go up to 13 miles an hour on that. As many of you guys know, we're from Oklahoma originally, and the wind is always blowing in Oklahoma. This drone allegedly can stand a 23 mile an hour wind resistance. So if the winds are blowing 23 miles an hour, if the winds are blowing, boys, knock it off. Quit, there's nothing out there. So if the winds are up to 23 miles an hour, technically you can still get the drone out and fly. My suggestion to you is use a lot of caution when you're thinking about doing that, and make sure you're in a wide open area where you're not going to risk running into power lines, trees, people, cars, or anything else. My personal preference for a drone this size, if the wind's over 10 or 15 miles an hour, I'm just simply not going to fly. For me, especially whether you want to look at it as a recreational, even though we are remote pilot certified and we've passed our license, for me it's still, at the end of the day, right now what I'm using the drone for, in my mind, it still kind of qualifies as hobby. The reason that we needed the remote pilot is because we're going to be sharing these videos with you guys down the road as well. And the FAA, I'd rather err on the side of caution, and that way everything's kosher. we are not going to have a debate on we are not going to open this up for debate on whether or not you can fly and post your videos as a recreational flyer. We're going to skip all that, guys. I'm going to tell you I'm a remote pilot, and I did it on purpose. I don't want a room for a debate, and I especially do not want a debate with the FAA. Again, those are some of the key features of the camera, what it can do, as the video footage that you can do with the drone this small. And I think, again, like I say, at the end of the day, the biggest deal is this thing's so small, you're gonna want to take it with you. I've taken this thing all the way to the East Coast, I've taken it all the way up to Michigan, I've taken it to Colorado, I've taken it to Mexico. Now I will preface this, during the times that I was in the East Coast and going up to Michigan, I was still operating under a recreational pilot. I did not get the drone out because I didn't feel comfortable enough looking at the maps, looking at the airways, if you will. I just decided to err on the side of the caution and not get it out, because the last thing I want to do when you're unfamiliar with the area you're in is make a mistake. And I don't want to get in trouble, guys. We don't make enough money on this channel to be paying for fines. So I'm always going to err on the side of caution. And again, something this light, you're not going to notice it in your bag anyways. It doesn't even matter. So if you, the advantage of it is, since I have gotten my remote pilot certificate, license, whichever you want to call it, doesn't matter because the FAA refers to both, I feel a lot more comfortable going out and flying, knowing what I can do, what I can't do, knowing how to look up the airspace and find out what kind of airspace I'm in, whether or not I can legally fly or not. I would really like to take a moment real quick and tell you about Pilot Institute. As you can see, I've got the t-shirt on. This is who I studied for the recreational pilot, along with the actual remote pilot license that we currently have. They've got great courses. If you guys are interested at all, I know that we've had a couple of people comment on videos in the past. Actually, not even videos, because we haven't posted videos yet. We've had a couple of people comment down below on some posts when we were super excited, posted on the community tab of YouTube that we passed and we've got our license for the remote pilot. And I've had a couple of people comment on there that said they've been thinking about it as well. So for you guys, if you guys are watching this video, I would like to just say, go over and check them out. You can take that recreational pilot course that he has for free. It doesn't cost you nothing. It doesn't cost you anything to take the test, and you can kind of learn how his teaching style is and decide whether or not he's right for you. But it doesn't cost you anything because that course is free. Again, go over there. He's got several courses. He's got some in-depth courses on some other drones. If you guys are interested or looking at more fancier drones and you've got a bigger budget than we do, he's got some great videos over there. It gives you a good idea of how he teaches and what you can expect if you do decide to enroll in the remote pilot, the Part 107 Made It Easy class. Again, I'll put a link down below over there to Greg. The biggest thing I want to do is I want to invite you, if you're watching this channel at Heartland Dual Sport, if you guys are interested in photography, the videography, and or the drone stuff, we're going to start producing more content, and it's going to be going on our Heartland Makes an Outdoor channel. And that's where, if you're looking for tips and tricks, go over there and check that channel out, because we're going to be doing more videos over there along that are camera related and or video related, or the drone. This is a new process. I'm never going to pretend to be a professional drone pilot. I'm still learning a lot of things, and that's what I love about our channel, is we can learn and share together. And that's what all of it is in my mind, is it's just a place we can kind of meet up, share some things that we've learned. Maybe I can teach you some things, and with you guys' participation, maybe you guys can teach me some things. So I'm looking forward to it. Really excited to have the drone in our tool bag. Again, if you like our video, give us a big thumbs up. We appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. May you have a blessed week. And if you're watching this on Heartland Dual Sport, let's go ride.